I'm Kate Dearlove.
And I'm Sasha Cole.
And we're from Diegesis Magazine. And we just have a few questions. We've got 5 big questions, then 3 little questions.
Wow.
For you.
Okay.
We've
got
like structure.
I want this. This is actually little presents.
Yeah.
Very
And a
exciting.
surprise.
Yeah, and a surprise.
Oh, yes. Well, there is.
Yeah, oh God.
Okay, so we both study film, and we're always told that the best way to seek inspiration is to look at your surroundings and maybe remember a dream or something like that. And I really wanted to know what the inspiration for the sinkhole idea was, the actual hole in the ground. Where did that idea come from?
It came from some news stories I'd seen about people being taken by sinkholes, where the earth just collapsed beneath somebody.
Yeah.
Which is a terrifying prospect. It's like a really fantastical version of crossing the road at the wrong time and getting hit by a bus.
Yeah.
So that I found that really scary. And then when I kind of dug into it, I just thought it was a very powerful visual metaphor for, I think, all of our darkest fears. And when you can find something universal like that, then it felt like I could kind of make it work in the story. I'm always trying to look for the most universal thing that I can. And I think whether it's Sarah's story in the hole in the ground or someone else's own challenges in life or maybe a sense of unknown future, even for me, I've just made a film and people seem to like it, but I'm like, oh my God, I hope the second one is better, or what if I mess it up? And right now I feel like I'm edging back towards the hole in the ground,
You're in the sinkhole.
Yeah, back into the sinkhole.
I see.
We were going to say, I feel Sarah obviously goes through a lot of emotions of doubt and unease, and something that really struck us was this idea of mental health, or that idea of not being believed and the frustration with that. And was this always an idea you wanted to convey, and was there a reason for that? Or?
I'll answer a little bit and then I'll let you talk about how, I suppose, within the character. But yeah, no, it was absolutely part of it. I think being doubted in life is, again, a terrifying prospect. And, what you believe internally, if you can't get someone else to be on side with that, it's also a reminder that sometimes we can be a bit isolated and a bit on our own. And the mental health aspect was kind of vital to that. I don't think we were trying to, I always say, it wasn't like I was trying to make a social issues movie at all. It's a horror movie and it's there to entertain and to scare, but I'm completely driven by character and grounding at the same time. So it felt like an important thing to say, and it felt particularly, the role of a single mother, and nothing more terrifying maybe than bringing it back to that idea of a dark future, facing it a little bit into the unknown, but ultimately then proving powerful and heroic. That was really inspirational to me.
Yeah, I think to be doubted, when you're saying I'm not crazy, and they're like, okay, that's such a frustrating feeling. It's like when somebody says why are you angry, and if you say I'm not angry, it's like no matter how you say that, you sound pretty angry to me. You know what I mean? It's like there's no backtracking. So that is that, and to be doubted and for someone not to believe what you feel is true is really frustrating. So there's a level of that within her, and just doubting yourself. I think the relationship she has come from and how she's dealt with herself, that she's always been full of doubt, and I think that's something that we all struggle to that confidence. Any confidence level, that's a huge struggle for anyone, and in particular somebody coming from an abusive relationship.
Yeah, I was going to say, going on from that, I get so invested into just watching the films, and I was wondering, how do you go about switching back to Seána after playing Sarah and the emotions that she's just been feeling? What's the process? Does it take? Do you go straight back into normal life, or do you kind of feel like you're still?
Do you mean after a day's work, or do you mean
straight after the cut at the end of the scene?
At the end of the scene, it depends on what's happening next. If you have to stay in it, or whether we can. I found that you do have to give yourself a little bit of alleviation, or else that if too much is there all the time, it's not as fresh then on screen sometimes. And I think you have to let a bit of air out and let a bit of breathing room. So when you go home at the day, to have a bit of levity, that you can come back into it, so that your whole life doesn't become, especially if you're in some dark headspaces, it's good to kind of give yourself a little bit of breathing room at times, but know that it's still there. But so I think Angelina Jolie said that as well, about you have to find a way to access it. So if you need the 10 minutes or the 15 minutes before, know what you need to get into that space and take that, rather than your whole life becoming it and just being consumed. I know that works for some people, but it doesn't necessarily work for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a life.
I'm going to say sound was such a major part of building tension in any horror. And for us, it really stood out in the talent show when the children all started singing. Yeah. What was your inspiration behind the Rattling Bog? Where did that come from?
The Rattling Bog, it's one of a number of songs that would have been part of like family sessions that we would have had, when the guitars got pulled out when I was younger. Excuse me. And the Rattling Bog is kind of, I found it kind of a creepy song always, and it has quite a cyclical quality to it as well, which I thought was really nice and reflective of the kind of panicked state. So like, it's something repeating in your head over and over again, because what's going on in Sarah's head in that moment is like, I don't think it's my boy, it's not my boy, it's not my son. And then you've got this song that's also turning at the same time, kind of repeating and getting faster and faster. So it just felt like the perfect mechanism to support, as a song, to support this heightened panicked state that she kind of finds herself in, because it's probably like her panicked high point in the story in a lot of ways, because after that point, and she makes an admission, she starts to deal with the situation a little bit differently.
I was going to say, there's such a great chemistry between Sarah and Chris. And at the start, I was kind of finding myself saying, like, how am I going to be scared of this kid? 'Cause he's so lovely. And then it didn't take long to realise I could be. But I just wanted to know, what was the process of finding the perfect pair? Because they went together so well.
Well, I had Seána in early, so I wasn't going to be able to change that. You were there, yeah. I'd been dealt one card already.
You're a joker.
Yeah, exactly. But that was a very positive thing. I think we did test quite a lot of young performers, and at different stages. Sometimes it would just be on tape, sometimes it would be we'd get them into a room, and then as you advance that process we would whittle it down, and then did some chemistry tests with Seána. And it was more than 2, wasn't it? I think maybe with 3 or 4 actually, which was nice, that it wasn't just, you weren't just there trying to decide between, which one, hey Seána, which one do you feel more comfortable with, which young performer. So yeah, it was this slow kind of mining.
I don't think that necessarily would have been, which one do you feel more comfortable with? With the unease I did have with James, actually worked well. But then as we got to know each other, then it was like, okay, we can have a mother-son relationship.
Yeah.
But initially in the audition processes can be quite awkward anyway, especially if you're trying to have a relationship it's not.
You've met
I'm
2
not
minutes
his
ago.
mother,
Yeah,
so you know
yeah.
what I mean. It's like, and we have met 2 minutes ago, so that all plays in. But yeah, it was amazing to have that.
I took as much time as I possibly could, and that's not just for me deferring a decision. It's also for the parents of the performer, just to have a think about what all this is going to be, because it's a huge challenge. You're when you're bringing in an 8-year-old boy to perform a role, you're kind of upsetting the entire apple cart of his family as well. Like everybody has to get involved.
Yeah.
Well, we've got 3 little questions for you.
Okay.
And a surprise.
If you guys were hosting a dinner party, which 3 filmmakers would you invite? And
Oh, that's is it a collective party? Do we
why?
have
You can
to?
have 3. Or it could be a,
I'm picking 3
come
of my
dine
own.
with me.
All right, okay, well you're like, fine. You're not
I'm not
invited.
sharing. Oh, am I going first now?
Well, we
Okay.
could do like as it comes, maybe. I don't know. I'd Alex Garland, definitely. I'd pick his brain for sure. Go on. Alive or dead? Can they be alive or dead? Okay.
Oh yeah,
I think it could
you
be
know
alive
what?
or dead.
Whatever,
Yeah.
it's your party.
I'd bring John Cassavetes because I like his filmmaking. I'd like the Duplass brothers. I'm gonna have.
That's 2.
Yeah, well,
you-
that's one. They're
Okay, yeah.
the list is
Loophole.
endless.
Yeah.
Go on, I'll let you start your party. Mine's gonna be like a party.
Spielberg, Kubrick, Raimi.
Straight up. Those are the ones.
Yeah, that's where I'd go, and all for their just storytelling ability, and just
We're chatting all night.
they're kind of different styles. Yeah. Kubrick might leave early, but and I'd have to. It would have had
probably
to,
come
the party
to my
would
party.
the party would have had to be in London as well, because he probably would have refused to have left. But yeah, though they're films that those guys directed got under my skin when I was very young. It's hard to escape those influences, so I would enjoy some time with them.
Yeah. So Lee, we know that you're a big horror fan. Seána, I've read that you're not 100% sure just yet. But what would 3 horrors be that have scared you the most? Broadly.
I get scared so easily. The Shining really gets under your skin. Rosemary's Baby gets really under your skin. But even things like, I went to see Drag Me to Hell with my friend. She was like, Seána, stop pinching my arm. I was like, oh sorry, I didn't even
jumped on her and a
realise.
whole drink went over her.
Drag Me to
Sorry.
Even like when in Paranormal Activity, and one of them when like presses open, I'm like, oh, ah! But I'm really looking forward to Jordan Peele's new one. I'm very excited for that. Yeah.
But don't go and see it in the cinema till you've seen The Hole in the Ground.
Okay, well, I'll go and see them both.
But yeah, I'd say I'll throw a real, because you've mentioned a few that I love there, but I'll throw a real curveball film that really scared me was Ghost Watch. I don't know if you've ever seen Ghost Watch.
Ghostwatch, I don't know if I've seen
Which
that.
is it was ITV, it was a BBC special with Michael Parkinson presenting, made to feel like a real ghost hunting show. I saw it when I was about 10. I saw it live.
Oh my God,
when you were 10 and it was
brilliant.
live on TV, you thought it was
Like
real.
most
And they're trying
haunted.
to trick you.
It's really, really scary.
God,
Check it out.
bless
We
me.
will. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
your
Thanks a lot.
Good luck for Friday. We can't wait to
Thank
hear
you.
about it.
Cheers.